Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to Project Hell, where today we are taking the RWD cars around. I know that I've missed the Orica Nissan. I've genuinely forgot that was a thing until today, so that's unfortunately a thing you have to deal with. I'll be doing that probably on Saturday. Yes. So this is the first Project Hell video, and the first video overall that has been recorded with TrackHat. I did the stream yesterday with TrackHat, recorded this afterwards, and I must say it makes a big difference to how I drive. This car, by the way, is the RWD P20 LMP2 car. A few things I'm going to say about LMP2s, because why not? The LMP2 rules are changing as of 2017, and the car you saw last week, the Orica Nissan, in the 30-minute race, that will be, this year's Le Mans was its last outing. As of next year, they're banned. Open cockpit LMP2 cars are banned as of next year. For safety reasons, they're all going to have to be closed cockpit. The LMP1 class has had closed cockpits for a few years now, so that's kind of something they needed to do just on safety grounds to prevent, as much as possible, let's say a stray piece of suspension flying off the car ahead and coming through a helmet. Now there's a second layer of protection in the form of the reinforced, I believe it's a Lexan windshield, bulletproof glass. I believe it's Lexan or plexiglass. And they've got like windshield tear-offs that are reinforced as well, so the more tear-offs the car has, the more protected it is. The teams are very much against removing a windshield tear-off at Le Mans, just for safety reasons, basically. They do it because, you know, safety reasons also say, well, you take off a tear-off once in a while, usually it's a driver change, to allow basically to allow the next driver in to see. But yeah, this car, the RWD, is really actually quite good. I maybe wasn't pushing it fully. I was pushing as much as I was comfortable with. I'm still kind of getting used to the TrackHat. As you can see, I was looking at the apexes, which is something I do normally, but normally you just see me, like in the streams, moving my head to look at something and you can't see exactly what I'm looking at. Now you can see that I'm looking at all the apexes, trying to get the car positioned up nicely. And I can do that now, and I can move my head from side to side and look where I need to look, where I feel I need to look. Whereas with the default view, it's not as good because I can't really see what I'm doing. It's just kind of stuck like that. I am having to use helmet view, so this is slightly... I've turned off like the helmet innards and all the special effects they do with the helmet view because it makes absolutely no sense to me. There's no reason for it. I'm literally... every movement you see is my own head moving. Occasionally I'll recenter the camera because it does... or recenter the TrackHat because it does tend to wander a small bit over time. It is something I would recommend already. Just from the small amount of use I've given it already, it's only about 3 or 4 hours of use, if even that, and it's really good. If you've got any sort of head tracking software, it's definitely good for project cars. What I will say is that if you do use head tracking, turn on, start the game in Oculus Rift mode, otherwise it won't work. It'll give you a warning, but that's a warning you just ignore. Oculus Rift mode basically means it will allow anything into the game, such as Track IR, Face Track No IR, and TrackHat, or your local or your like random equivalent of face tracking, whichever you use. And I know you can make your own fairly cheaply. I just wanted to TrackHat because I'm useless at electronics. I cannot figure stuff out. Also, I think TrackHat's a really reasonable price. I mean, it cost me €50 including shipping, to get track at, and it just, yes. I've advised people who are looking for feedback about it already, because I mentioned it a few times that I was getting it, and people were asking, oh, well, let me know how you get on. Really good, really strongly, heavily recommend it. Because it allows you to do things that the games don't. It allows you to look at what you need to see in Project Cars, Assetto Corsa, and even iRacing. It hooks in through the track IR methods. If you use the open track thing, if you use open track tracking, it takes a bit of time to set up and all that, and it does have a tendency of wandering, and you know the camera mount isn't 100% perfect, but it's definitely better than no track IR or no head tracking at all, or even maybe the head tracking that Simulate uses. That's me screwing around. Yeah, that was me screwing around, and I think at some stage I take a drink of Coke during this lap. I think so, maybe. If you suddenly see the roof of the car, that's me having a drink. Yep, there's me having a drink. That's the unfortunate thing, is I can't have a sneaky drink now while I'm driving. But yeah, I was just kind of showing off how head track how track out works. So here we come up to the final complex of corners here. I know I haven't been commentating this lap very much, but it's a very, very straightforward lap. Very, quite cautious. I wouldn't say like mega cautious. So up to the line and across the line in 6 minutes, 29.837 seconds. Which is in fact good enough for the 16th best time in the world. This right here, this is the big boy. You'll see that I'm a bit slow off the line. I'm looking at the KERS, just checking the KERS value to make sure it's not going down. Warming the brakes, because I want the brakes to be warm with this thing, because it is fast. This is the RWD P30. This is under LMP1 spec. This is an LMP1 spec car. It is petrol engined as opposed to what you hear now from 90% of LMP1s, which is a diesel. An incredibly efficient diesel, but a diesel nonetheless. This thing is a bad LMP1 just because it's petrol powered and it's making a lot of noise, which means the engine is not burning at peak efficiency. That's a fun little fact. If you hear quiet race cars, it's because they're burning at high efficiency. It's why Formula 1 is so quiet now. Yeah, this car is a bit mental. And again, you can see me looking around. I don't like this car, I will be honest. Because you'll see when I going around some tight left-handers, some of the tight left-handers, that the wheel arches get in the way. That's something I dislike. It's very difficult to see around the wheel arches. What on earth is going on outside? Something's happening outside and I don't know what. But yeah, this thing is relatively stable. I did make a few mistakes with this car. The P20 was actually worse. I made a lot more mistakes. I've just dumped all the mistakes to try and streamline the video. I know you guys like seeing crashes, but actually almost all the mistakes I made were just cut tracks, because I was trying to take a corner too tight or too fast. There was no really big crashes, so I just cut them all out. You'll notice I'm banging up to 100% brake as much as I can in this thing, just to try and get KERS boost up, because the KERS almost doubles the horsepower in some cases. In fact, this is from probably running 2014, 2015 rules, so it doesn't have as much KERS boost as the cars from 2016 Le Mans, which could get up to about 1,000 horsepower under KERS boost, under like hybrid power. I think the Audi and Porsche were getting just over 1,000 horsepower out of the first Mulsanne chicane, out of Tetra Rouge, which is the highest boost you'll get on the entire circuit. Well, probably actually out of Arnage would be the highest boost. Yeah, Arnage, because that's a... That wasn't a good noise. Arnage, because that's a really heavy braking zone after Indianapolis. So yeah, you get best boost out of either Arnage or Mosan Corner. And they're both linked to pretty good straights. But you can see the curves boost is definitely helping acceleration coming around here. Coming up now towards... I can't remember the actual name of the corner. I call it Bravery. But this thing just sticks. It just absolutely sticks to the ground. It is a proper Le Mans prototype. It is a spaceship on wheels. And a small little blip of the brake just to make sure I can get around it, because I don't trust myself. It seems like some of the prototypes just don't have the grip they should. And this thing, I didn't trust it enough. The P20 even, I did try a couple of times to go around that corner full blast, and I ended up having to drift. This is a really terrible carousel. I don't know quite why I couldn't hook it up properly, but I just couldn't. So I was very, very slow through carousel. However, curves helped me out. All in all, I will say this was a bad lap, just looking at the equivalent ranking, because for some reason Project Cars doesn't take my world ranking into account anymore. This is a very bad lap. I apparently can't set any world ranking times, which is odd. It is very odd that Project Cars has just randomly said, no, you can't set any more times, you've set dozens already. But I guess that's the thing. Because like I'm setting times in the top 20 in the world, in some cases the top 10 with cars, so it's not like I'm bad. I always say I'm bad, but kind of looking at the rankings in some cars, I'm genuinely nailing laps. Like, I'm getting impressively quick times. Coming around now, this corner I hated. I hate this corner at high speed, because it just wants to spit you out. It's all at once. And this one as well, just because of the little jump before it. That time, it didn't seem to do anything to these prototypes, but I know it has a habit of just spinning cars. The two corners with bumps I hate. So coming up now towards the mini carousel. And you can see there that the wheel arch was getting in the way of me seeing exactly where I was putting everything. Which I really hate. I genuinely hate that, because it's just kind of... I know where the wheel should be, but I can't quite see where it is. I don't know, it's a bigger problem in road cars, so I guess I can't complain too much. So coming along the back straight now, down, I believe this is Kittelbacher Höhe. I believe. And we're peaking up around 300 kilometers an hour. Losing one or two because of it being uphill, and, you know, this thing is kind of aero-locked at that point. There we go, 300. And braking now because I got scared of that little bump. So, coming around the final corner now in second gear, we've got 86% curves boost. Let's use as much of it as I can. Literally just didn't want to stop. Broke the suspension at the end. But that lap was a 6 minute 17.172. Which is good enough for 176th in the world. That was not a good lap. However, that's the end of the video for today. I've overspoke again. Hooray. I'll put like my logo or something in the background. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.